I think it's about time we answered that very much anticipated question here at the channel, and that is the Satisfy Norda 001 trail running shoe worth that pretty hefty price tag of £280? It was a hard question to answer after our initial run. The shoe felt pretty good out there on the trails, but there were a couple of things that I wasn't quite sure about. Number one, the level of cushioning from that midsole, and number two, the fit of the upper around my ankle and heel. I've done about 50 miles in the shoe now, so let's dive into the video and answer that question. Welcome back to another full in-depth running shoe review. I'm Lloyd Purvis and this is Run4Adventure. If you're new to the channel, then welcome. It's great to have you along and I'm glad you found us. Obviously, we are a running related YouTube channel and we want to produce quality, fun and informative content for you guys at home. We do things like this: running shoe reviews, kit reviews, all the way up to sort of short inspirational films, and we want the channel to be a super positive place for people to come to get inspired on their running journeys. So if you enjoy the content, why not consider subscribing to the channel? Very easy to do just by clicking on that red subscribe box down there in the corner, and it is completely free, but it also is a massive help to the channel. While you're there, don't forget to hit that bell icon because then you'll be notified when we upload any new exciting content. Okay, back to the shoe in question, and let's give you a few facts and figures about the most expensive trail running shoes I've ever run in. So like I've already mentioned, it retails in the UK for £280. Weight-wise, it comes in at 315 grams in a UK 10, and that midsole runs off a 5mm offset. So you've got 26mm on the heel and 21mm under your forefoot. When we did our first impressions, this collaboration shoe with Norda and Satisfy was only available in this jade colorway, but they've recently released a silver option as well. So there is a few options available now. When it comes down to the sort of fit and sizing of the shoe, I would say it does size up just a little bit small. So I had to go up half a size. The UK 10 fits me perfectly on length. And I would say that you've got good volume and good width in the toe box. Before we go into the construction in a bit more detail, like I just said, this is a collaboration shoe between the apparel brand Satisfy and Canadian shoe brand Norda. We actually went into a bit more detail about the two brands in our first impressions video, so I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to check that out in a bit more detail. So because this is the collaboration shoe, we've got a few sort of Satisfy sort of details on the shoe, but you can also get a standard version of the Norda 001, exactly the same shoe, just without those details, and you can pick them up for the bargain price of only £220. Okay, onto the construction in a bit more detail, and this shoe actually has quite a few unique features, and the first of them is the material that is used in the upper. It's actually called Dyneema, and it is a bio-based fibre that's actually 15 times stronger than steel of the same weight, so that gives you a very light, super breathable but very durable upper construction, so it should hold up to sort of all the wear and tear that we put our trail running shoes through. It's pretty stripped back when it comes to design to try and keep that weight down to a minimum, so we've got a very thin tongue design, and in fact there's pretty much no padding in it at all, and it actually forms this sort of internal liner in the shoe, so it's a bit like a sort of booty design. Similar story in the heel, so very little padding, very little structure, and you can see I can literally fold that sort of heel down flat into that upper, and this is one of the areas that I wasn't sure about out on that first run. We got some structural overlays working from the heel around those lace eyelets and finishing up wrapping around that toe box, just to give that lightweight upper a bit more substance, but also to help with durability. We've got a good level of protection from a substantial toe bumper, I'm happy to say, and then that upper is finished off with some nice reflective detailing for safer nighttime running. Moving down to that deeply stacked midsole, and this is another unique feature on this shoe and something that I've never seen on a trail running shoe before, and I think it is one of the only shoes on the market using this, and it is a midsole compound made by Vibram, the rubber outsole specialists. So this is their SLE midsole, and it's 30% lighter than standard EVA, and it's been designed to offer the runner just the right balance of comfort, cushioning and protection while remaining nice and responsive all at the same time. And if I turn the Norda 001 over, you can see that yellow logo, which means Vibram have been involved in the construction of this shoe even more. And I'm happy to see a Mega Grip outsole on the shoe. Now, this isn't your normal standard Mega Grip. This is actually light base, and what that means is that it's reduced the overall weight of that outsole by a whopping 30%. And this is actually achieved by making that outsole 50% thinner while not compromising on the grip, traction, or durability. So pretty clever stuff. And then we wrap up that outsole with a nice 5mm multi-directional lug pattern. Oh, and I nearly forgot to mention again, I don't think I mentioned it in the first run video, is that the shoes also come with this very cool looking recycled nylon and Dyneema shoe bag. It is pretty cool looking, but I'm not sure that a posh shoe bag is on the top of every trail runner's kit list. It's definitely not on the top of mine, that is for sure. But there you go, folks. That is the Satisfy Norda 001 collaboration trail running shoe. Now, like I mentioned, I put 50 miles into them now, so let's find out if those things I wasn't quite sure about after the first run have settled down, or am I still having problems? The first thing we have to mention, and that is that midsole compound, because I was actually really surprised how firm it felt out there on the first run. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't uncomfortable. I just expected it to feel sort of softer, plusher, and maybe feel like it's returning a bit more energy. I'm happy to say all it needed was a bit of bedding in, and it's just got better and better the further I've run in the shoe, and it now feels great underfoot, really comfortable on those longer runs. But I think Vibram have got that balance of sort of comfort, responsiveness and connection just right, and it really has come to life over the last sort of 20 or 30 miles, and I've really been enjoying the feel and the performance of that midsole. The outsole performance has been fab, but obviously having Vibram Mega Grip light base on the bottom of it, I was kind of expecting that, a super sticky rubber compound. Brilliant on the rocks, brilliant on wet rocks, but having that 5mm multi-directional lug pan, it's also performed really well in muddy situations. I used them for Freedom Racing's Poles U 10K, and it actually poured down with rain all night, so the coast path was very wet and very muddy, and the levels of traction were great from the outsole. There was one point in the race where I don't know whether the mud was very sticky there. It did kind of clog up the outsole a bit, but it eventually cleared. But in general, the outsole has performed really well. So you can see lots of positives, lots of things I've enjoyed about the shoe, but I do feel there is a few things that could be slightly tweaked, slightly improved when it comes to that upper. The first one being the design of the heel. I think a bit of substance would really help. I understand that Norda have tried to keep the weight down to a bare minimum when it comes to the upper, but if that sacrifices the fit, then it's not really worth doing. And I think if you added a bit of a heel cup there, it really would improve that sort of fit and hold around your ankle and heel. Also, maybe a little bit of added padding to that very thin tongue and around the ankle collar. Again, I think it would really help with fit, but it would just add a little bit extra sort of plushness to the shoe out there when you're on those longer efforts. Not that I found it uncomfortable in any way, but I do think a little bit of padding would be a good thing. Another thing I noticed about this Dyneema fabric is it felt very breathable while I was out there running, and on a couple of the wetter runs I did with the shoe, I was amazed how quickly this thing drains. You know, I was splashing and stomping through deep puddles, and it just got rid of that water straight away. Didn't hold on to it at all. So I didn't get any sort of squelchy shoes out there on those wet runs. So there you have it, the Satisfy Norda 001. And I've actually been really impressed with how much this shoe has improved when it comes to sort of comfort, feel and performance over the time I've spent in it after that initial run. I've actually found myself reaching for it more and more lately as I'm heading out onto the trails, because I just enjoy the way it feels. But we've reached that time in the review where we need to find out what this is going to score, and as always we're going to start with price first, so this should be pretty interesting. Now obviously there's some state-of-the-art materials and new tech used in the construction, and it has been designed and made by a small company that doesn't have the sort of buying power of the big boys in the running world like Nikes and Adidas. So a shoe like this is going to be a lot more expensive, but I still think a £280 price point is a little bit crazy, and I would want a shoe to make me run like Kylian Jornet for that kind of money, and I think we all know that it's going to take a lot more than a running shoe to make me perform like him, so there's no way we can give it a high score, and unfortunately it is going to get marked down considerably, so we're going to give the Norda 001 collaboration with Satisfy a 2 out of 10 for price. So rapidly moving on to comfort and performance, and all those slight doubts I had about the fit of the upper have kind of faded away the more miles I've put into the shoe. I am a massive fan of that Vibram SLE midsole compound. It has performed really well on every type of terrain I've run the shoe on. Really good levels of comfort and connection. Very impressed by the performance of that Vibram Mega Grip light base outsole. I actually think it's one of the best outsole designs I've seen on a trail running shoe, and it can literally handle everything you throw at it, and this is a trail shoe that you could definitely use all year round here in the UK, which is a really hard thing to achieve. Once I played around with the laces, I did actually improve that sort of fit and feel and hold on my foot shape, but I still think it would be really good to add a few sort of tweaks to that heel cup. I think it really would improve the fit and feel all round of that upper. But I think the Norda 001 has redeemed itself after that super low score for price, and it's going to come in with a very impressive 9 out of 10 for comfort and performance. Lastly, we have to talk durability, and this is a very important topic when we're talking of a shoe that retails at £280, and you'd expect it to last a very long time indeed. This is actually one of Norda's kind of selling points of the shoe to justify this price point, and you know, with that Dyneema fibre being very, very strong and durable, you should get hundreds and hundreds of miles out of them, and so far it's looking pretty good. Apart from the state of the shoe, you know, it coming in this light colourway here in the UK, I've run it on quite a few muddy trails and it's looking pretty grubby now, and I don't think it's ever going to look shiny and new again. However, I do have a bit of early lift on some of the overlays on that upper, and that's after only 50 miles. Unfortunately, it's at the flex point of the toe as well, so I can just see that getting worse as I put more miles into the shoe. That Dyneema fabric does feel and look very hard wearing indeed. Midsole feels great, and the outsole is showing very little signs of wear at all. Unfortunately, we are going to mark it down a bit for that early peel of the overlays because, you know, I don't think that's good enough for a shoe that is so expensive. So we're going to give it a 7 out of 10 when it comes to durability. So tallying all those points up for the Satisfy Norda 001, it's going to come in with an 18 out of 30 here at Run4Adventure. Obviously, that high price plays a big part in that low score, and I think it would be good if the Norda brand could find a way of sort of producing a more affordable running shoe option. As far as looks goes, when it wasn't all dirty and grubby, this is a great looking shoe, and it's all shiny and straight out the box, to the point where I really didn't want to take it out on the trails and get it all muddy. I don't think this sort of light colourway option has really helped with that. And I've actually had a look on the Norda website, and the standard version comes in some darker colour options. And I think that's definitely the way to go if you are running here in the UK at winter time. But like I say, when it's clean and new, it is a wonderful looking shoe. So it's going to get a big thumbs up from me for looks. When it comes to comparisons, we've got quite a lot of options with the world of trail running shoes, all getting these sort of deeper stacked cushioned midsoles. Obviously, the first one would be Hoka's Speedgoat 5. A very similar level of cushioning, although the Norda shoe is slightly firmer than the Speedgoat. And obviously, they both come with a Vibram Mega Grip outsole. Also, Saucony's Endorphin Trail would give you a very similar feel out on the trails, and the Olympus 5 from Outra. Happy to say that we've got the new Olympus 5 heading our way very soon at the channel, and we'll be getting some good miles in that shoe and bringing you guys a full in-depth review. So I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, what is my answer to that question of, do I think these are worth that hefty price point of £280? And I've got to be honest, my answer is, I don't think any kind of running shoe is worth that sort of money. Yes, we've got this super durable, hard-wearing, tough Dyneema fibre used in the upper, but what about the midsole durability and the outsole durability? You might be able to get thousands of miles out of that upper, but if that outsole is worn flat after 500-600 miles, then you ain't going to be running out on the trails in this shoe anymore. So technically, it's not any more durable than any other trail running shoe out there on the market. Don't get me wrong, I've really enjoyed my time in them and the performance and the feel of the shoe, and I'll definitely keep on running in them, that's for sure. You know, luckily I got sent this pair by Satisfy to test and review in the channel, but I could never see myself sort of justifying spending £280 on a pair of trail shoes. So wrapping up with a quick conclusion, and I'd say if you like to be different from the crowd, running a shoe that you don't see a lot of, and support a smaller brand, you've got £280 burning a hole in your pocket, and you like a deeply cushioned trail shoe that's going to cross over to a big mix of terrain, no problem, keep you very comfortable underfoot, and it supports a very well designed, thought out, grippy outsole, lightweight upper, super breathable, and drains water really well. I would personally like to see a little bit more substance from a heel cup, just to give you a better lockdown and hold in the back end of the shoe, but I would still recommend checking them out in a little bit more detail. So that's it, that is a wrap on another in-depth review at the channel. Really hope you enjoyed it, really hope you found it helpful. I would love to hear from you guys out there, so if you've been rocking a pair of the 001s, tell us all about it. How's it performing? How's it feeling? How's it holding up to the mileage? Has it been durable? Would you spend £280 again on a pair of these? Let us know all about it in the comments below. Lots of shoe reviews heading your way as well. So we got a trail running shoe from Callis, their Fuga DU, a very interesting looking trail shoe indeed. We'll be doing the first impressions on that very soon. And we got a couple of road shoes back on the channel. So we've just been sent the new Endorphin Shift from Saucony. I've never run in the Shift model before, and this latest version has had a lot of new updates. So looking forward to getting them on my feet. And I've just had an email notification that any day now we should get New Balance's new Fuel Cell Rebel V3. I was a massive fan of the V2, so can't wait to get that shoe on my feet and give them a thorough testing. But for now, guys, thanks for watching. It's always appreciated. We'll be back on the channel very soon. And as always, stay safe and keep on running. We're obviously a running related YouTube channel, and we wanted... Okay, onto the construction, and this shoe actually has quite a unique few reflective detailing for safer nighttime running.